All right, everybody, welcome to our 10-minute touch point of the day. I am Nicole, your host, and I'm glad you're here with me today. We are spending 14 days moving through a challenge to see this time that we're in as an actual opportunity rather than as just surviving, that we really want to thrive together. So I'm excited about that. And I am glad that we can be together. And this is just a way for us to feel connected to other people, that we're not alone. And you can see if you're on live on Facebook or Instagram, you can see comments coming up. The question that we're answering right now is, what are we doing different because it's the weekend? What can you do different because it's the weekend? To just kind of give your spirit that lift and make sure that you're actually sort of demarcating the week and the weekend. And we're going to talk a little bit tomorrow about how to self-evaluate how things are going and how you can make adjustments going into your week. But today, hey, Christy, hey, Melissa, hey, Sandra, it's so good to see you guys. Sandra's trying to be positive. I know it's difficult. This is just a chance for some positivity together for just a few minutes. So wherever you are, whether you feel like this has been a good day or not, I want to encourage you to just stop for a moment, and we're going to treat this as our Sabbath. I love the passage in Hebrews that says there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. And it says, make every effort to enter that rest. And we could say a lot about what Sabbath is and why we do it, and that would be much longer than 10 minutes. But I really, really love just this idea to make every effort to enter Sabbath rest. So I have a super specific Sabbath challenge for you. And I've talked about this before at Thrive, a women's ministry that's at Hope Church. So if you were ever there, you might remember this moment, and I wrote about it a little bit as well. But it's been such a powerful exercise for me personally. And I really want to challenge you to take the same exercise on this Saturday. So here is the challenge. We know that in Christ, we enter into rest. So if you know Jesus, he offers his rest. He says, come to me, all who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. And then in the book of Hebrews, we have this idea that there is a Sabbath rest that we can enter into, that it doesn't have to just be this one place or this one day or this one time that you have to enter into a temple and that you have to follow these regulations, but that actually we can have a dwelling place within us that is a place of rest, and that we can take a Sabbath in that place, but we have to make every effort to enter that rest. Like there is actually work to train our minds to enter into that rest. Are you following me? So what I want to invite you to do, because it's such a prevalent issue right now, and it's a prevalent issue oftentimes all the time, but we might not be aware of it, is I want you to take a Sabbath rest from feeling bad about yourself. Like any moment today, when you have a moment where you're thinking, I should be doing this, or I could be doing this, or I didn't do this well, or I regret this, any time that enters into your operating system today, I want you to tell yourself, I'm taking a Sabbath from feeling bad today. I can feel bad about this tomorrow. I can feel bad about it the next day, but I'm not going to feel bad about it today. So when you're making lunch a little bit later and you're eating and you're like, I should be working out, I should be, whatever that mind is, whatever that tape is that you hear in your mind that tells you that you should be doing something different, or that you're not enough, or that this needs to be, whatever it is, that voice of failure, that voice of shame, of condemnation, and especially, and this is a real challenge, the voice of fear right now, that voice of uncertainty, all those what ifs. When you hear that negative tape in your mind today, which you will, and you might be sitting here, and believe me, before I even did this exercise, when I was just teaching it, I was like, oh, I'm not like that. Like, I don't need that. I'm not a person who is overly shaming myself or overly critical or overly negative. It wasn't until I actually tried it that I realized that it wasn't just that I thought about those negative things dozens of times a day. I actually think it was in the hundreds. Like when I was training my mind to say, for the next 24 hours, I am taking a Sabbath rest from feeling bad about myself or from negativity, that's when I realized how much negativity was inside. I mean, everything. It was like everywhere I turned, I was condemning about the way I was doing chores to myself. I was condemning about what I was eating. I was condemning about how I was moving or how I wasn't moving. I was condemning about how I was being a mother at that moment. I was condemning about how I was being a spouse. I was condemning about when I was resting and not. I was like, oh my gosh, like I am a mess. And I needed the discipline of saying, I can decide how to be better tomorrow, but I don't have to decide today because I'm going to take a Sabbath rest from feeling bad today. I'm going to actually trust that these things that I'm concerned about, the fears that I have, the worries that I have, I don't have to solve them today. And that doesn't mean you need to run out and not listen to the coronavirus restrictions, because you certainly should continue to be cautious. But in the midst of sort of our confined life right now, what if for the next 24 hours, every time you had a negative thought about yourself or about your future or fears about your future, you actually said to yourself, hey, self, I'm going to take a Sabbath rest from feeling bad today. We can pick this conversation up tomorrow. See if you can do it. See what happens. Does that resonate with y'all? Do you think that you can try it? I would love for you to try it today and see how it feels. It doesn't take any effort. It doesn't take any money. It doesn't take any resources. It just takes a moment right now where you say, I'm committed. I'm going to say yes to that. So if you're in, say I'm in right now. If you're joining me live, if you're on YouTube later, just decide what 24-hour period you want to take a Sabbath rest from feeling bad. Make every effort to enter that rest. There's actually work to enter into trusting God, especially in an uncertainty, to trusting that it's okay to be limited, that it's okay to not be perfect, that it's okay to be fragile. Enter into that and ask yourself, with the time that I usually spend and the emotional energy I usually spend with negativity, I'm going to choose to do something else. See how it goes for you. I will ask you guys. I'm so glad to see that you guys are in. Katie's in, Melissa's in, Kendall's in, Sandra's in, Leslie's in, Mac's in, Margaret's in, everyone's in. You guys, let's do this together. And come back tomorrow at 12 noon and let's talk about how it went for you. I would love to hear what you learn when you're curious about your thoughts and your negativity rather than condemning, rather than shutting yourself down. Just say, hey, self, we're going to take a break from that today. We'll have to choose something else to do and have fun with it. Okay, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming.